Black has been arrested 2 times within the last 3 weeks, family. The first one stemming from alleged trafficking. The second one from something that seemingly happened in his past. The last few months, let's get into it. Now, family, the second one, Kodak says that the police are picking on him.
Nigga was clearly lying.
But we moving too fast. Let's break it down. So, family, about 2 weeks ago, Kodak Black was arrested for alleged trafficking, all right? This is him in court. But we're gonna watch some other videos of him in court. Now, this is him smiling, looking back at, possible family, something like that. He did get a bond this same day. This could be after he got the bond and he's able to tell himself, I'm finna go home and get high, okay? Because I've been having a problem with damn Kodak Black. I tell y'all every time we have Kodak Black topics, this is one of my personal favorite rappers, but at this point, he one of my favorite kids. Because the boy, I don't know him for music no more. I know him for this shit. This is what I know him for these days.
Doing well. Next case is State of Florida versus...
What's this lawyer's name? Now, of course, Kodak got a high-profile lawyer here.
Bill Capri, 2026.
His name is going to come to me in a minute.
6084.
Bradford Cohen on behalf of Bill Capri.
Bradford Cohen. There it is.
Good afternoon, sir. If you can just tell me your name and your date of birth.
Now, this is Kodak appearing in court again for trafficking charges.
All right, Mr. Capri, you are here for your initial appearance. You were arrested pursuant to an arrest warrant, so probable cause was previously determined by Judge Murphy. We are here for purposes of today for determining your bond and as well as conditions of bond. Before we do that, is there anything that the defense wishes to add?
I do, Judge. I just want to point out a couple things with the arrest and the affidavit for arrest. I know that PCOs are to be found.
Yes, sir.
Generally speaking,
okay.
I always like to make the court aware of the strength or weakness of the case because I think that goes towards the bond. In this case, Judge, this happened in November. Oh, before I get to that, we also self-surrendered for the court's edification. We self-surrendered. He was in California. I had him fly back specifically for this case. I was notified by the U.S. Marshal Service and given the opportunity to surrender him. U.S. Marshal Service was beyond professional in this case, just for the record. But if you read the affidavit that is attached to the warrant, Judge, essentially what happened here was there was 2 vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of the vehicles are registered to Mr. Capri personally. An officer approaches the vehicles. One vehicle, he says, smells like marijuana. He searches that vehicle, finds something in that vehicle that is unrelated to Mr. Capri.
Mm-hmm. He found that.
Second vehicle, and he doesn't even see Mr. Capri on the scene at this point.
Okay.
The second vehicle, they then inspect. There's one person in that vehicle. There's 2 bags next to that person, both in the passenger side of the vehicle. One bag has drugs in it and some other items. The other bag has what he initially says, and he doesn't put this in his affidavit, he initially says that he tests it, and it tests as 27 grams of cocaine, which is just under the trafficking amount of 28 grams. When he then sends it in, allegedly, it becomes MDMA. So I also have his original report that says when he originally tested it, it tested as cocaine. Inside that bag, there's some items that he says belong to Mr. Capri, an identification and some paperwork. He then sends things off to get printed. None of the things in that bag come back to Mr. Capri as his fingerprints. I think there were several latent prints taken off. None of them match Mr. Capri. At that point, then Mr. Capri approaches the officer and is now on the scene, was not in the vehicle, and doesn't make any admission that the bag is his or anything like that. The officer then goes one step further and goes on Mr. Capri's Instagram, and on one picture in his Instagram, there's a picture of him standing next to a bag that looks like the bag that was in the car. Now, I know PC was already found, so I'm not going to argue PC, but it's really screaming at me, but I won't argue it. But I mean, the case law on this is so very clear, and I use 2 very, very, I think, esteemed cases. One of them is Edmund.
So the lawyer is saying that the police officer, to determine if the bag belonged to Kodak Black, went onto his IG and saw that Kodak was standing next to one of the bags in question at the time. Now, of course, a police officer is trying to put two and two together, but a lawyer can't fight that. Yes, Donnie, that is Bradford Cohen. Now, this is a high-profile lawyer that Kodak has, Bradford Cohen, for sure.
V State, and the other one is McCrae v. State. And I'll just give you a very brief on it.
Right. So let me ask you this before we get into the case.
Yes.
One, has a copy been given to the state?
I'll give her a copy. I'm sorry.
Because certainly last thing we want to do is have a hearing by ambush.
Okay. Look at Kodak.
And a lot
He's
of the
smiling.
construction cases, construction possession cases. Kind of an amazing case, and I'll give you the exact site for it, but it's Edmond v. State, and the state has a copy of it. The other one is McCrae. In McCrae, they're pulling a guy over. They pull him over, he jumps out of the car and makes a run for it. As he's running, the officer sees that he's playing with his waistband and makes a throwing motion. He puts him down on the ground, arrests him, and tells the other cop, hey, go back and see what he threw. They find a baggie of cocaine, no fingerprints on it. They print it, no fingerprints on it. And the court says, that's not enough for constructive possession. Those cases are so much closer to constructive possession than this case. And I would just ask the court, in considering a bond, to look at the case, to look at the affidavit that's with the case. And I understand that the typical bond on this is $50,000. I'm asking for a $10,000 bond. I on my way here on the train, I was typing up a motion to dismiss. It's just there is not enough here.
Right, and I'll stop you there. I mean, obviously, you know that the motion to dismiss.
Now, before I let the judge go, first of all, bravo to Bradford Cohen. Listen, this is why you pay Bradford Cohen the big bucks. Bradford Cohen, listen, what just happened? Bradford Cohen was able to extract two different examples of cases where you could argue the person in the vehicle with the cocaine were, maybe closer to having possession to that cocaine or that substance than Kodak Black currently is in this current situation. All right? So he's now arguing for a 10-band bond and trying to get deeper in his bag, but the judge cut him off. Let's see what the judge got to say.
I know.
Is for another day. We're
know,
here
Judge.
for the sole purpose of
Yes, Judge.
determining bond and conditions of bond. Your
I do.
client.
And I appreciate, Judge, and I don't know if you
I've
want-
got the sites for you, Your Honor.
Oh.
Edmond versus State is 963 Southern 2nd 344. It's 2007 case, 4th DCA. And the McCrae versus State is another 4th DCA case out of 2006, and I do not have that site. Given the case over there. Again, not arguing PC, it's been found.
Yes, sir.
I believe that the importance of this information.
So they're not arguing against the cocaine being found at all. They not arguing against that. They're arguing did Kodak have possession of it? It's in the vehicle with him, but can you legally say is in his possession?
Is the strength of the case something for the court to consider? Additionally, again, as Mr. Cohen had said, this was a self-surrender case. This is not somebody who is a flight risk, and the strength of the case, using the word strength very, very loosely, would ask that the court consider a low bond of $10,000.
and he's never failed to appear, as long as I've represented him.
As long as you represent him, there is at least one.
I've
player to
represented him
appear.
since he was 17. Yeah, there might be one really far back in the past.
There's one from 2016. Before I determine conditions of bond and bond.
Nah, the judge on that nigga, he had it right off the back of his head from 10 years ago, nigga. No, it's one time from 2016, Mr. Cohen. All right?
Bond amount. State, is there anything that you all wish to add?
No, Your Honor.
Look, he laughing high as hell. He like, nah, he remember that shit. He high as hell over here like, nah, the judge did remember that shit. That crazy. That's how he looking.
Now, as both attorneys said, they're not arguing PC, and PC has already been found. The schedule for trafficking is $50,000. PC has been found for a trafficking, so the state would ask that you give a bond of $50,000. The state would actually ask that you increase the bond, as the defendant is a professional rapper, as the counsel has indicated.
Nah, look at Bradford's face. He know that's the scam right there. Look at Bradford's face.
The
You see how he react when she say you increase the bond?
defendant is a professional rapper, as the
Nah, that face tells it all.
counsel has indicated. He flew in from California. He is also, when you do a search, listed as a Haitian American, He does not have any ties to Orlando. He's from Pompano Beach, but again, he flew in from California. So state would not only ask that you have the bond at $50,000 in light of his occupation and lack of ties to Orlando, that it actually be increased, and one of the conditions be that he surrender his passport.
If I can just address that very quickly, Judge. He is a proud Haitian American, but he is an American. He has a U.S. passport. He doesn't have any plans on leaving the country. I mean, we've faced cases that are 10 times this case, and I've won, by the way. But we'll put that in another bucket. But the fact that he's a rapper doesn't give you a legal purpose to raise the bond. So I would still ask for a $10,000 bond, Judge.
All right, well, I appreciate all the argument. Again, Mr. Capri, you're charged with trafficking in methamphetamine or MDMA, more than 10 grams, less than 200 grams. That is a first-degree felony. Again, you are entitled to a bond, so I am going to give you a bond. I have considered the strength of the case as well as everything that was set forth in the arrest affidavit. I understand the arguments presented by your counsel. I think one of the things that was left out was, while you weren't necessarily claiming ownership of the bag, you were requesting that the funds within the bag be turned over to you. So there at least is some tie, seems like, to the court, to that bag. Nonetheless, I think in terms of bond, I am going to slightly increase the bond. I think based upon your, not the fact that you're a rapper, I think that has no binding, but the other factors that the court considered is your prior criminal history, including 12 prior felony convictions, 2 misdemeanor convictions, 1 failure to appear. That was quite some time ago, so I'm not giving a ton of weight to the failure to appear. But I think an appropriate bond in this case would be $75,000, so that's going to be what the court sets the bond at. As conditions of your bond, I am going to order that you not return to the scene of the offense, which is 910 Airvilla Road, Orlando, Florida, which is the Children's Safety Village. Additionally, I am going to order that you not...
Damn, that nigga had the dope at the Children's Safety Village? What the hell? Kodak? What's going on, man?
Contact with any of the co-defendants in your case, so specifically Mr. Avon Joseph and Mr. James Twitty. Additionally, you are not to possess or consume any drugs or controlled substances without a valid prescription. Additionally, this should go without saying because you are already a felon, but you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Additionally, I am going to order that you not have contact with any of the other witnesses in the case, so specifically Gizgard Kantave, Arquita McDougald, Dion Rogers, and Mazrick Sandalis. Aside from that, I believe those are all the conditions that I think would be appropriate in this particular case. Obviously, if you all are seeking to have the bond modified or reduced, you can file the appropriate motion with the assigned judge, and I'm sure they'll get you in the docket to address that for you. I'm also not going to order that you surrender your passport. I don't deem you to be a flight risk. Again, you only have 1 prior failure to appear dating over 10 years ago. So, Mr. Cohen?
Yes, Judge, this is one thing. One of those individuals is his brother. So I don't know how you don't have contact with your brother.
Which one?
Masnick. And then the other ones,
Sharp Bradford.
There's some cousins involved in there. One of them is his manager. One of them is his road guy. So
Which one's the co-defendant?
It's not a co-defendant. You said no contact with the witnesses.
Right, but before that, I said Avon Joseph and James Twitty.
Yeah, I don't mind about that. That's fine.
Okay.
But there's the other individuals that had nothing to do with this case that were just on the scene. One of them is his brother, Masnick.
Okay.
And then I believe one of them is I think 2 are security and 1... Yeah.
That nigga Kodak like, yeah. Say all them niggas. Everybody. Name everybody. Just name everybody, all right? Everybody besides the 2 niggas you cool with, everybody else, make them cool, all right?
2 are his security.
All right, which 2?
Cantave and Dion.
All right, so I will permit you to have contact with your team, so your security and
so cool.
So that's Cantave, Rogers, and San Melis. You can have contact with them, so I'll strike.
Perfect. Thank you, Judge.
So much. Best of luck to you.
All right.
You as well.
Now, family, this is a serious moment, all right? Bradford Cohen did great work, okay? He wanted the 10-band bond. The charge itself, it called for a $50K bond, and the judge looked at his past and said, we're going to make it 75, but Bradford got him out that jam. Now, what happens? Bradford gets him out the jam. Family, y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. This nigga gets fucking arrested.
Fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
Family, what the fuck is going on? Now, this is the first charge, okay? This is the drug trafficking, okay? What happens next? What happens next? Let me pull it up here. Kodak gets re-arrested. Let's see here. Now, this is him appearing. Here we go. So, Kodak Black gets rearrested. We're gonna pull up exactly what it was for. They said it was some stemming from months ago and he turned himself in. That's currently what the word on the curve is about it. Let's see here.
Yak, we love you, Yak.
Now this was him getting the first bond.
What's up? Kodak, is there anything you want to say, Kodak? Anything at all? Kodak.
All right.
Just say one word.
This is the second one. Now, he gets re-locked up. This is him leaving just 7 days after getting arrested on drug trafficking, all right? He gets released on a $3,500 bond, back-to-back arrest in just 7 days. Let's see.
I got you. Black, you want to say something? Go ahead, tell us your side of the story, man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Pretty plain and simple. Get straight in the black vehicle. Doesn't say anything. His lawyer is going to speak for him. All right. Kodak Black attorney speaks on his recent arrest. Says it stemmed from an incident over 5 months ago, and Yak turned himself in. All right. So that's what we're getting on this second situation. This is him in court getting the bond.
Capri, good morning, sir. You do have a warrant, fleeing, attempting to elude law enforcement, and resisting an officer obstruction without violence.
The defendant was pulled over, initially failed to stop, and ended up getting into another vehicle and taking off during the pendency of that stop. I would note that all of the other individuals that were present were armed.
Capri, good morning, sir. You do have a warrant, fleeing, attempting to elude law enforcement, and resisting an officer obstruction.
So fleeing law enforcement and resisting arrest
without violence.
The defendant was pulled over, initially failed to stop, and ended up getting into another vehicle and taking off during the pendency of that stop.
So he switched vehicles. Yo, bro thought he was James fucking Bond. This nigga fleed the cops, jumped in another whip, thought like shaking into another whip was gonna get them off of him. Them niggas said, hold on, you know what's so funny?
He got away with it. But he ain't get away with it.
Damn! He thought he got away with it. He ain't get away with it.
I would note that all of the other individuals that were present were armed.
Capri.
All right, and everybody was strapped up. All right, so again, man, listen, family, I love Kodak Black probably more than most. Love him. His come up story, his sound. I thought the kid was so dope. I was so happy to see Kodak be one of them ones at one time, but now, family, again, we're just rooting for his sobriety, family. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, what Kodak meant to music at one time, you could debate Kodak Black was heavier than NBA Youngboy. You could have debated it. It was a debate for a minute. Like, who was him? Was it Yak or is it Youngboy? Now, today, we see Youngboy's, you know, he's taking off, and you can say he's the Drake of the kids. We're getting the Drake as well. Don't even worry about that. Regardless, family, I just want to see Yak. I just want to see Yak healthy, family. Okay, If we get any more news with Yak, wait a minute, I do want to show this. I do want to show these. Because, see, this is my goddamn problem with Yak right here. Somebody tell me how Yak has an IV in his arm and drinking lean. Look at his face right now. The boy twisted. The boy's twisted. His eyes almost look cockeyed. He's so damn twisted. Shorty behind him holding up the IV, trying to get him right. Bro still sipping.
Let's move back a little. This way.
I ain't gonna even lie. Look like he got tequila in the bag. What the fuck? Nigga getting hydrated with tequila. Look, man, got lean belly, bruh.
I love it though.
Shorty holding the bag tough though. Alright.
Let's move back a
Family.
little.
Alright, family. Look, man. Keep Yak in your prayers, man. Alright. Let's keep it moving, family. Are y'all ready to get into Drizzy? I know we're gonna be